this is Lyndall, Watery Wishes, and today we have a very, very, very late unboxing of the Simon Says Stamp June card kit and a card at the end of it. So I don't get this kit until just before the next month's one goes on sale, and that's because I live in Australia, and I don't just live in Australia, I live in a semi-rural area in Australia, so things take a little bit to get to me. And previous to this, I'd already stolen the sucker out of the kit because they're nice and I can't resist them. So here we have a 3D texture fade, Botanicals by Tim Holtz, the Distress Resist Spray, some Daniel Smith watercolor dots, and this is a watercolor card designed by Susie Plantamura, some metallic envelopes from Simon Says Stamp, these beautiful patterned papers by Motor Scrap. Now, I'm not a huge patterned paper user, but these ones are absolutely gorgeous. They're very watercolor-esque, and I can actually see myself using these ones on some cards as maybe even the focal point. Some of them, they are so beautiful you could just use them to make a quick card and use them as the focal point. They really are so beautiful. And then the last one, I really do like the hot air balloon theme. And then we have the stamp set from Simon Says Stamp called Beautiful Flowers, and it is a gorgeous stamp set. And in the background you can hear my chihuahua barking at someone in the stairwell. So can't control that. And that's the inspiration sheet. And then we have some cardstock in white, cornflower blue, smoke peacock, and a gold pearl mirror card satin effect from Tonic Studios. So that rounds out the card kit, and now I'm going to put all the many items back together. And those shiny metallic envelopes are really gorgeous. I actually haven't been able to let go of any of them. I think I'm going to start hoarding them. And now I'm just getting the Motor Scrap papers. They really are gorgeous. And that's the card kit for the month of June. So I'm going to make a card for you out of this card kit, and it's very simple. I probably should have taped this down a little bit better, but I didn't know how far I was going to cut this piece of watercolor paper down, and it measures 4.5 by 6. So it came up. I was playing with it. I just wanted to get a bit of a black wash on it. And this is a fairly simple card. And I'm using my Mission Gold watercolors here. Nothing fancy. Now I'm going to use that beautiful floral stamp, and I'm going to use my anti-static powder tool, because I'm going to stamp in Versamark and heat emboss using some Wow gold glitter embossing powder. And it's really hard to see on camera when I'm heating it up that it's setting, because all that glitter in it. It's a very, very sparkly embossing powder. But see what I mean by it's sparkly? It's just overkill, but very pretty. I'm trying to get in the habit of putting my embossing powders away before I start heat setting my panels, simply because I'm anticipating the day when I knock that stuff all over my desk and lose a whole jar of it. See, it's really hard to see it set on camera. You can tell in person that it's setting, but it's very hard to see it on camera. Now, I fully expected this piece of watercolor paper to warp. I mean, even though I'm using Canson XL watercolor paper, I'm throwing tons of water at it, heat from the heat tool. Like, cardstock's gonna warp. So I'll fix that later by just rolling it a little bit more, and I use some foam tape to adhere it to a card base later, and it's perfectly fine. Don't be afraid to use your watercolor paper and warp your cardstock. There's always some way to make it flat again. Now, this is some Winsor & Newton gold ink with a little bit of water. And I'm splattering that all over the card. And this ink goes beautifully with this embossing powder. It sparkles and shines, much like the embossing powder does. And I actually got turned onto it by watching some YouTube videos on card making, and I can't for the life of me remember who it was I was watching that I saw use it, but was definitely a steer in a good direction. And here I am just using black to colour in all the foliage and the flowers. And this is just going to be a very simple black and gold card. Very quick to do. The longest part of it is waiting for the watercolor to dry. And I've got the stamp set off to the side because it's very hard to tell where some parts of the stamp are, because it's very detailed. So I have the stamp set off to the side, and it has the stamp printed on the acetate, so that makes it easier to see where I need to put the paint in. And I'm sorry some of it's off camera. Still getting used to filming my cards. And I'm really just trying to get a really, really dark black in there to contrast with the light grey of the same black paint used in the wash. And it really just makes that gold embossing pop. I think I'm on a black watercolor kick at the moment. I only just got my Mission Golds about 2 months ago, and I'm just loving playing with them. So actually my next card, which didn't turn out that great because it's my first attempt at no line watercoloring, so you've got that to look forward to if you follow me. It didn't turn out that great, but I'm going to upload it anyway because, you know, nobody's perfect, and I figure by showing how I'm not perfect, it might help encourage some of you who feel disappointed in your card making efforts. Yeah, no one can make perfect cards every time. It's virtually impossible. Card making is an art, and art is trial and error. So here I am sticking the panel onto a bit of black cardstock. I think it's left over from a Hero Arts kit. Popping that on an A2 size card, a portrait side folding card. Now I've done some stamp surgery here. This sentiment said, "You are a treasure to me," and I cut the "to me" off because I'll use it without the "to me" more often. I'm not a demonstrative person, so I tend to suck at feelings. So I don't want to be too touchy-feely on my cards. It's just me. So now I'm going to heat emboss that sentiment. And I mean, if I ever want to stamp it with the "to me" on the end, you just butt it straight up against each other and stamp it how it was intended. But I figure I'm more likely to use it this way, so this way it shall be. And I'm just adhering that sentiment flat to the card over where my fingernail made a crease and all the paint sort of got stuck in that one spot when I was doing the black wash. Cutting off the last bit on the outside. And there's the finished card. So I hope you had fun watching me make this very, very simple card. Here are the photos, and if you liked the video, hit that like button. I'd love if you subscribed, and I'll see you in the next one. And don't forget, have fun crafting your imagination. Bye.